Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're going beyond the basics of natural selection.
Yeah, we're diving into the real extremes, the evolutionary arms race.
Right, where survival means getting incredibly creative. Think chemical warfare, perfect disguises, total mind control.
Exactly. We've got some amazing source material detailing these, unbelievably fierce strategies out in the wild. Forget simple camouflage.
This stuff is almost science fiction.
It really is. We're looking at creatures pushed to become, imposters, puppet masters, even biological vampires.
Okay, so the big question guiding us is, what actually happens when survival demands these extreme adaptations? Let's jump in. Where do we start? Maybe with deception.
Mimicry is the perfect starting point. It's essentially where one species, the mimic, evolves to look or act like another, the model.
All to fool something else, right? Like a predator.
Usually a predator, yeah, or sometimes prey. It's a cornerstone adaptation. We see echoes of it in, our own fiction, like Skrulls or Cylons, but nature did it first.
So what's the classic example?
Well, a key type is Batesian mimicry. That's where a relatively harmless animal copies the warning signs, the bright colors, the patterns of something dangerous or poisonous.
Ah, so it's bluffing,
Yeah.
saying, don't eat me, I'm dangerous, when it's, well, not.
Precisely. It's an evolutionary bluff. And in the ocean, the undisputed champion has to be the mimic octopus.
Oh, I've heard about this one. It's not just one disguise, is it?
Not at all. That's what's so wild. It's incredibly versatile. It doesn't stick to one model. It changes rapidly depending on the situation.
Like what? Give us an example.
Okay, so if it's moving along the seabed, it might pull its arms in, flatten out, and adopt the pattern of a banded sole. That's a flatfish with toxic skin glands.
Right, so predators that avoid the sole will avoid the octopus too.
Exactly. But then, if it's swimming in open water, it might switch things up. Hold its arms out, display bold stripes.
They'll look like...
A venomous lionfish. Instantly recognizable, instantly dangerous.
That's amazing. What else can it do?
Get this. Its ultimate defense might be impersonating a sea crate, a highly venomous sea snake.
How does it even do that?
It buries most of its body in the sand, leaving just two arms visible, patterned, and moving like a snake's head.
Wow, that's some serious commitment to the act. But does that only work if predators know the real sea crate? What if the crate isn't around?
That's a great question. It points to how these systems work. Yes, it relies on predators having learned, probably the hard way, to avoid the genuinely dangerous model.
So the bluff could fail if the model disappears.
Potentially, in that specific disguise. But the octopus's genius is having multiple disguises, the sole, the lionfish, the snake. It makes it a moving target. Hard for predators to develop a single counter strategy,
Adaptability is key. And we see this on land too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Think about harmless hoverflies that look exactly like stinging bees or wasps.
Right, the yellow and black stripes, I've seen those.
Or certain moth caterpillars, like the hawk moths. If threatened, they puff up the front of their body, display eye spots. They look remarkably like the head of a venomous viper.
Leveraging someone else's scary reputation. Clever.
It's all about deception. But mimicry isn't just defensive. There's also aggressive mimicry.
The wolf in sheep's clothing approach.
Exactly. Using deception not to avoid being eaten, but to get a meal. Luring prey in.
Okay, like what?
Well, the alligator snapping turtle has maybe the most chilling lure.
The tongue, right.
Yes. It sits at the bottom of the river, mouth wide open, perfectly still except for its tongue, which is pink, fleshy, and wiggle. It looks exactly like a worm.
So a fish sees an easy meal.
Swims right into the turtle's mouth. Snap. Game over.
Brutal. Any other masters of the lure?
For sheer precision, you have to look at the Iranian spider-tailed viper.
Spider-tailed. Okay, what does that mean?
It means its tail ends in this bizarre, lumpy structure with thin filaments coming off it. The snake itself is perfectly camouflaged against the rocks.
And the tail.
Flicks the tip of the tail. And that tip looks, uncannily, like a spider scurrying around.
Hey, to attract what?
Birds. A bird flying overhead sees what looks like a tasty spider, easy pickings,
Dives down.
and gets bitten by the viper hidden below. It's an incredibly specialized hunting technique.
That seems almost unbeatable. Have birds figured out how to spot the fake spider? Does the source material mention anything like that?
Not for this specific viper, no. But you're right, that's the constant push and pull of evolution. Every trick eventually creates pressure for a counter trick. We see it elsewhere, like with sound.
Some mimicry.
Yeah, like the black drongo bird in Africa.
Yeah.
It mimics the alarm calls of other animals, like meerkats.
Why would it do that?
Picture this. A meerkat catches a nice, juicy grub. The drongo nearby mimics the meerkat alarm call. The meerkat panics, drops its food, runs for cover.
And the drongo swoops in and steals the grub.
Exactly. Deception across all senses. It's amazing stuff.
Okay, wow. So mimicry is powerful deception, visual and auditory. But there's another level, isn't there? Something beyond just fooling the senses.
Oh, yes. If mimicry is deception, then parasitic control is.
Yeah.
Well, it's complete surrender, hijacking the host entirely.
Turning it into a biological puppet. This feels like we're entering horror movie territory.
It kind of is. This is where the evolutionary conflict gets really intense, really personal. We're talking about parasites that literally control their host's mind and body.
And the most famous example has to be the zombie ant fungus, right? Ophiocordyceps.
That's the one. The mechanism is just breathtakingly precise. This fungus needs to spread its spores, but it lives in rainforests, often on the forest floor where there's not much wind.
So it needs to get higher up.
Right. So a microscopic spore lands on an ant, maybe foraging on the ground. It penetrates the ant's exoskeleton and starts to grow inside.
Taking over.
Completely. Within about 3 weeks, the fungal mass can make up almost half the ant's body weight. And crucially, it infiltrates the nervous system, effectively cutting the lines from the ant's brain to its muscles.
So the fungus is driving now, not the ant.
Pretty much. And it steers the ant on a very specific final journey. It guides the ant upwards onto a plant stem.
To a particular spot.
An exact spot, always around noon, when the sun is highest. To a leaf typically about 25 centimeters off the ground.
Why that specific height and time?
It's the sweet spot for the fungus. Temperature between 20 and 30 degrees Celsius, humidity around 95%. Perfect conditions for the fungus to reproduce.
Okay, so the ant reaches the spot, then what?
Then comes the final signature act. The fungus compels the ant to bite down hard onto the main vein on the underside of the leaf.
The death grip.
The death grip. It's incredibly powerful. The ant's jaws lock in this characteristic dumbbell shape, and it can't let go. It just hangs there.
And then the fungus kills the brain.
Only then. Once the ant is secured in the perfect position, the fungus consumes the rest of the ant's insides, including the brain, and then a stalk erupts, usually from the back of the ant's head.
Oh, man.
And that stalk releases the spores, showering them down onto the ant trail below, ready to infect the next victim.
That is deeply unsettling. How long has this been going on?
For a long time. Scientists have found fossilized leaves, 48 million years old, with those unmistakable dumbbell-shaped bite marks on them. This evolutionary battle is ancient.
But the ants must fight back somehow, right? They can't just let this happen.
They do. The sources mention that ant colonies have adapted. They seem to be able to recognize infected individuals.
And what do?
They carry them away, far from the colony's main trails, to try and limit the spread of the spores. It's like a form of social immunity.
A collective defense. Wow. But some parasites need more than one host, don't they? Making things even more complicated.
Exactly. These multi-host life cycles lead to some truly bizarre chains of manipulation. Take the lancet liver fluke.
Okay, liver fluke sounds nasty. Where does it start?
It starts in the liver of a grazing animal, like a sheep. Its eggs pass out in the sheep's dung.
Right.
Then a snail eats the dung, and the fluke hatches inside the snail. The snail eventually coughs up these slime balls containing the fluke larva.
Slime balls. Lovely. Who eats those?
Ants do. Ants are attracted to the slime balls. And once a fluke larva is inside the ant, things get weird.
How so?
Most of the flukes head to the ant's abdomen, but one, just one, makes a journey straight to the ant's brain, specifically the cerebral ganglia.
The control center.
Precisely. And it releases chemicals that completely change the ant's behavior.
Let me guess. It makes the ant climb.
You got it. But only at night, when it's cooler. The infected ant leaves the colony, climbs to the top of a blade of grass, and clamps its jaws shut, waiting.
Waiting to be eaten by a sheep?
Waiting to be eaten by a sheep, exactly, to get the fluke back into its final host.
What if it doesn't get eaten by morning?
If the sun comes up and warms the ant, the fluke's control seems to weaken. The ant climbs back down, rejoins the colony, acts normally all day.
Only to repeat the climb the next night.
And the night after that. It's a risky gamble for the fluke, but it maximizes the chance of completing its life cycle.
That's incredible manipulation. What about that worm that makes crickets jump into water?
Ah, the kamikaze horsehair worm. Another fantastic example of multi-host complexity.
How does that one work?
It starts with eggs hatching in water. The larvae get eaten by aquatic insects like mosquito larvae.
Oh.
Then, a terrestrial insect like a cricket or grasshopper eats the infected mosquito larva. The worm grows inside the cricket, sometimes getting incredibly long, filling its whole body cavity.
And then, when it's ready,
When the worm is mature, it needs to get back to water to reproduce, so it alters the cricket's brain chemistry.
to make it.
Seek out water. Crickets normally avoid water, but the infected ones become, well, irresistibly drawn to it. They find a puddle, a pond, a swimming pool,
Jump in.
and essentially drown themselves. As the cricket dies, the long, mature worm emerges from its body, back in the water, ready to find a mate. Suicide by remote control. It's just extreme. But maybe the pinnacle of precision control isn't a fungus or a worm. Maybe it's an insect.
You mean the emerald jewel wasp?
The very one. This is less about broad manipulation and more like targeted neurosurgery.
Okay, tell me about it. It hunts cockroaches, right? Much bigger than itself.
Often, yes.
Yeah.
The female wasp finds a cockroach and delivers 2 stings. Very precisely.
2 stings. Why 2?
The first one is a quick jab, usually to a leg joint, causing temporary paralysis. Just long enough for the wasp to deliver the second crucial sting.
And where does the second one go?
Directly into the cockroach's brain. But not just anywhere in the brain. It specifically targets the ganglia that control the initiation of movement, the regions responsible for dopamine response.
So it doesn't paralyze it completely.
No, that's the genius of it. It doesn't kill the roach. It doesn't fully paralyze it. It just removes its free will, its desire or ability to start moving on its own.
It becomes a zombie roach, but functional.
Exactly. It can walk, it can groom itself if prompted, but it won't initiate escape. It's like a perfectly functioning vehicle with no driver.
Why do that? Why not just paralyze it fully? Seems simpler.
But the wasp needs the cockroach alive and fresh for its offspring. If it were fully paralyzed, it might die or decay too quickly. This way, the roach stays alive but docile.
So what does the wasp do with its lump?
It literally grabs one of the cockroach's antennae and leads it, like a dog on a leash. It walks the roach back to a pre-prepared burrow or hole.
Leads it in.
Leads it right in. Then, it lays a single egg on the cockroach's abdomen, seals the burrow, and leaves.
And the larva hatches and eats the still-living cockroach.
Feeds on the fresh, non-decaying tissues for several days until it pupates. It's remarkably efficient and horrifyingly precise. Surgical control.
Okay. That's intense. So if you're not controlling your prey's brain, maybe you're just feeding on them more directly.
Right. Let's shift gears slightly. Still predation, but very specialized kind. Hematophagy.
Blood feeding. Vampires, basically.
Nature's vampires, yes. It's a surprisingly successful niche, actually. Blood is packed with nutrients, iron, protein.
But there must be downsides, right?
The big one is vitamin C. Blood has almost none. So any animal that specializes in drinking blood has to have evolved a way to deal with that deficiency, either making their own vitamin C or just managing without it.
Mosquitoes are the obvious example, I guess.
They are. And they even have ways to filter out excess water from the blood meal. But there are others, much more specialized. Think about bed bugs.
Ugh. Yeah. Highly specialized on humans, right?
Extremely. They're masters of stealth. They inject anticoagulants so the blood flows freely, and anesthetics so you don't feel the bite. And they only need to feed maybe once a week.
Still creepy. Any less.
Yeah.
Domestic examples.
How about the vampire finch, found in the Galapagos?
A vampire bird. Seriously.
It's a type of finch that supplements its diet of seeds and nectar by drinking blood.
How? Does it attack other birds?
It targets larger seabirds, like the blue-footed booby. It uses its sharp beak to peck at the base of their feathers, making a small wound.
And then just laps up the blood.
It laps up the blood that pools there. It's quite an adaptation, likely evolved during times when other food sources were scarce. Opportunistic vampirism.
Wild. Okay, so even these blood feeders, they must have predators too, right? It can't be easy living on just blood.
Absolutely. Here's where it gets really fascinating. There's a species of jumping spider in Kenya, Avarca culicivora.
Okay. What's special about it?
It specifically hunts mosquitoes, but not just any mosquitoes.
Let me guess. Blood-filled ones.
Exactly. It targets female mosquitoes that have just had a blood meal. They can tell the difference.
Just for the extra nutrition from the blood.
That's part of it, but there's more. Research suggests that consuming the vertebrate blood actually makes the spider, especially the females, more attractive to mates.
Get out! Eating blood makes them sexier.
Apparently so. It's like an indirect sexual selection thing. The blood meal signals something desirable, maybe good hunting skills or access to vital nutrients. These spiders are voracious hunters, too. One can kill up to 20 blood-fed mosquitoes one after another.
A mosquito-slaying, blood-craving spider that gets more attractive by doing it. Nature is weirder than I thought.
Isn't it just? It shows how incredibly specialized these niches can become.
So wrapping this all up, we've seen mimicry as elaborate deception, parasites turning hosts into puppets through chemical control, and hyper-specialized blood-feeding vampires. What's the big takeaway here?
I think it's the sheer power and, well, creativity of coevolution. These aren't just isolated tricks. They're the results of millions of years of back and forth, an arms race, pushing species into these extreme, sometimes horrifying, but always intricate roles.
Understanding these connections, the fungus controlling the ant, the octopus playing multiple roles, the spider hunting the blood-filled mosquito, it really highlights the adaptability of life, doesn't it?
Absolutely, survival isn't static. The rules are constantly being rewritten by these interactions.
And even small changes, like things we do, can drive adaptation. You mentioned the source talked about grove snails.
Yeah, the quick example of rapid adaptation. In hotter urban environments, these snails have evolved lighter colored shells compared to their counterparts in cooler rural areas.
To reflect more heat because of concrete cities.
Presumably, yeah. A small environmental shift driven by humans, leading to a visible evolutionary change in shell color. It shows how responsive life can be.
Which leads to a pretty provocative final thought, doesn't it?
It does. If snails are changing shell color because of cities, and we're changing the planet so rapidly now, climate, pollution, habitats.
What other extreme adaptations might be evolving right now under our noses?
Exactly. What new mimicry, what new parasitic controls, what bizarre survival strategies are brewing out there in response to the pressures we're creating? We might be inadvertently shaping the next generation of nature's super deceivers or mind controllers without even realizing it.
Something to definitely ponder. A bit unnerving, but fascinating.
That's evolution for you. Always adapting, always surprising. Until next time, keep exploring.
And keep thinking critically. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.